Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Founders and Creators Podcast, a show where we talk to extraordinary people, specifically content creators and business founders. Today on our show, we have Austin, aka Allstin, in the AustinAnalysis. He is a YouTube creator with two successful channels. One where he creates videos all things doom. This channel in particular has almost 3 million channel views and 10,000 subscribers. His second channel, AustinAnalysis, was monetized in under 4 months, which is absolutely amazing. Beyond that, he's a super nice guy, incredibly intelligent, and I thought he would be a perfect guest to kick off this unique show, especially since he has such a unique story, and to me, he's one of the most relatable people I've ever spoke to. So without further ado, Austin, welcome to the show. How's it going today?
Thank you. I am doing perfectly well today. Thank you for having me on. I do appreciate it.
Of course. So let's just jump right into it. I'm glad you're doing good. I want to know everything. I want to know the full story.
Yep.
So for starters, how did you get started on YouTube?
Well, back in this is interesting. I always like to use this as sort of a motivational story for people because back in 2016, I thought, I played video games. Well, what if I started a YouTube channel? Nah, it's probably too much work. You got to make all the videos and the thumbnails. I don't want to do it. Fast forward to 2018. I thought, okay, I have a laptop. I would set it on my lap, use a little lid for a tote. Across my lap is a table, Blue Yeti microphone, or put the laptop on the kitchen table, do whatever it took. It just made stuff for fun. And about 3 weeks after I started recording, got in a car wreck and I broke this right here. It's a boxer's fracture. So naturally, having a gigantic cast on your arm makes it hard to record.
I bet.
So I picked up from there. I had a bank of about 12 videos ready to go. I found out another YouTuber around that time that I actually really got along with and who was really pivotal in helping me start my channel. We spent stream together and all that. But I say all that to say that it should have been 2016. It was 2018. I started just because it's a game I played. I actually work in broadcasting and have done freelance voiceover, so I thought YouTube would be a good fit.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you about that specifically because you're in a unique position. You have experience with broadcasting, and not a lot of people have that when they start a YouTube channel or, TikTok or whatever it might be. So do you find that really helps you? Does that separate you from any competition you might have? Do you think that, those skills really, put you on that next level?
I would 100% recommend everyone who does content creation or even a business, even if you're not a YouTuber, to learn the science behind broadcast and microphone, camera, speech. There is a certain way you can communicate with an audience through this medium that's different than maybe in person or something like that. But to have a level of comfort behind a microphone and camera goes such a long way. I cannot stress that enough. The dynamics in your speech, how loud you are, how soft, the inflection of your words, enunciation. Yes. 1,000% yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I never really thought of that. Because I've taken some classes, like I took a communications class, and it went a long way in little things, not just with YouTube, but also just, like I had to give a speech at my brother's wedding. I was the best man. And, I felt so much more comfortable going up there, with that experience. So
it helps out so much. And is regarding being in an advantageous position or not, I absolutely think it helps any creator or any business owner, because if you think about it, our channels are our businesses.
That's true. That's a great point. Yeah. So to go back, I guess in the beginning, was there any channels in particular that really, you looked at and you're kind of like, oh yeah, I could do something like this, or even a channel that kind of motivated you and inspired you or something like that?
Yep. His name is Big Mac Davis, and he's since become a moderator in my community. We stream together, and we've talked a lot because I started before I saw his channel, and when I saw him, I'm like, wow, like this guy is this me? Like his commentary style, the way he played, everything he did was very much like me, and you'd almost think that I saw him before I started my channel, but it's not true. So it's almost like a fateful moment that I met this guy. And he has actually did my very first shout out to bring me up to 30 subscribers back in May 2018.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, I remember that. I was at the gym. I was lifting. I used to do powerlifting. I checked my phone and I'm like, where are all these subs coming from? What happened? 30. And
Right.
then I check a video and Big Mac Davis at the start of his video, he's like, and if you like this tutorial, you will like Allstin. Please go check out his channel. That's just cadence he used and everything.
That's so
Right in the middle of a
cool.
workout. Got distracted. But yeah, definitely him, because we've since collaborated. And I think that we want to talk about collaborations. The fact that we meshed so well together in the streams and have an audience that is very similar between our channels helped out a lot too.
Yeah. Well, that's so cool. So how big was his channel when he gave you that shout out, when you only had like 30 subscribers or whatever?
He's around 50,000, I think now. So 40, 50,000.
Wow. That's so cool. That's such a nice connection to have, especially in like the early stages of a channel. So
and especially too, when you look at where he came from, he has been in the scene for years. He's established a name for himself in different game communities. So to have his backing and have his support, his viewers can say like, hey, if Big Mac Davis trusts this guy, maybe I should check him out. So it worked out so well. And
that's awesome. That's awesome. So before we, shift topics from that, I guess the beginning Doom, like I love the game Doom. I think a lot of us grew up playing that game. And it kind of, let's be honest, it shaped FPS, forever. And
absolutely.
So was there a particular reason you doubled down and you went to Doom, or was it just something that you kind of were just born into it? Like you love the game so much that you knew you could make a channel about it.
Well, I started playing it in the 90s, and I know everyone uses the WASD. I use the arrow keys back then.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like I grew up on the game, man. And when I wanted to make a YouTube channel, it just fit. I actually started on a game called Hexen, which is a Doom engine game, and partially because my laptop, let's be honest, it was horrible. It's about the only thing I could play was retro games, and the only thing I could record, so I did. Wow. And what started as just a guy in the kitchen, in the bedroom, sitting on his bed with a laptop. I have a picture of it too. I could show you. Using a storage tote lid as a table has turned into something that I am very business minded about now. Never would have thought it. Never would have thought it.
That's so cool. That's really like, it's the dream for a lot of gamers and content creators that are in that like early stage. It's finding something that, that they enjoy and putting it out there and finding enjoyment, or other people are getting enjoyment out of it. And it's such a great thing. So that's awesome. So to shift gears slightly, you started a second channel. So I wanted to know about the process, your mind kind of took about that, and why in particular did you decide to start a second channel?
Well, to kind of give a little bit of background, gaming, as far as ad rates go, which ad revenue is a primary source for a lot of YouTubers, although it's smart to diversify your income, not all of your eggs in one basket. And the ad revenue is not so great in gaming. And I imagine that's because, it's the audience, the age groups, their inclination to buy something. So your revenue per 1,000 views, which is a metric that YouTube uses, quite low. So you have to get lots and lots of views to make it in gaming. Doom is more niche now, so it's not like a Fortnite where millions of views. So I thought, well, if I want to look at this from a business perspective, what other avenues can I take alongside this passion channel to make money? So the second channel started, and it was everywhere. It started anywhere from tech news to dad advice to everything. And I finally settled in on the Reddit niche that, if you want to touch on that here in a little bit as well.
Yeah, of course. Let's talk about that, because it's such an amazing idea and concept. So in your own words, could you explain what your second channel is now, and like, what your videos are basically?
Yes. So I thought, well, you know what can I do to really find something I like? I've done a couple little audiobook readings on acx.com, freelance voiceover. And I thought, well, I've been a Redditor for years now, and people are reading these stories like audiobooks. Why am I not trying this? I love voice. And so I jumped right in and read them, and people, caught on a little bit, but it wasn't until a friend of mine mentioned me on his channel, had me as a guest narrator, that I began to grow an audience with it. And even still yet, it's a smaller one, as I've mostly shifted back toward Doom for now, which is another interesting point. But to read the stories of people in the form of an audiobook dramas and just the intensity of what they have. That is what that second channel is.
That's so cool. That's such a fun idea. And I think for other people, I think that could be a great way that other people can get involved, in channels that maybe they want to start a channel that they like the broadcasting or the voiceover stuff. I mean, I saw a TikToker that he literally reads tweets and he reacts to it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like that's his thing. And I never would have guessed someone would have made a business out of it. But it's kind of a similar concept, although it's much shorter. And I see you put tons of work into your videos. Nothing against him in particular,
no.
but it's quick and easy. He just reads the tweet. And actually my wife's the one who's like big into it. And at first I was like, how are you watching this? Because like, why don't you just go on Twitter yourself? But then she was like, well, I like to hear him laugh and I like to hear his reaction and things like that. And it's the same thing with your channel. And I was reading some of these comments on your channel before we started, and a lot of the people just love to hear the story in your voice. And that's such a unique thing that you could bring into the table. So I love that idea. That's so cool. So,
every reader will bring a story in their own way. And if you look at the core of YouTube, storytelling is its core. You have to tell a story, captivate the people, and engage them. It does not matter what niche you're in. If you're in Doom, tell the story of something that happened. If you're in Reddit, tell the story of what these people said. If you're in real estate, captivate them and really get them into learning how to get a license, hypothetically.
Yeah, thanks for that. So with that being said, that second channel, you got monetized so fast. Could you talk a little bit about that? What were some of the things that, I mean, I think our channel, it took us almost a year or two. It all, meshes together now, but how did that roll out for you? What was your plan in the beginning? Did you kind of have like bullet point guidelines that because you made it happen and you should be very proud of that. So what was your process like for that?
Well, everything is different in the second niche. I come from originally gaming, where the views the revenue per 1,000 views is low, and so it took me almost 2.5 years to get monetized on my gaming channel. So I had to have a perspective shift to see that there are other things and other avenues out there. This was about 4 months. When I first started, I made these shorter videos. It didn't really take off well. Then when I started the Reddit videos, they're long form, 15, 20 minutes. Watch time is the goal that you want. You need to have a certain amount of watched hours on your channel to be monetized, and subscribers. Those long videos shot the watch time up, up, up. That combined with, cannot be thankful enough to Rob, a friend of mine, who mentioned me on his channel, let me come on his channel as a guest narrator, vouched for me. I was able to have some audience from his channel. Because a lot of times when you're on social media, people say, I want a shout out. I want a shout out. But what matters is what you do with that shout out, because I could go on my Doom channel and say, go check out this Fortnite creator. And he might get an initial search, but then it would die off because one, there's no connection. And two, he may not have been able to retain that audience. That's the whole point. So when Rob did that, I thought, okay, I have to double down, continue making videos. What can I do to retain them? What do they like? And how can I give that to them as my audience?
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, especially because a lot of people hear the word collaboration or shout out, and they're like, woo. But we've experienced firsthand, and we've obviously discussed this before, that those things do work. And I mean, you've had two instances, and both drastically different, but one in the beginning with your Doom channel, just that first bump, and then one with your second channel. So that's really interesting to hear that those both helped. But so to go on our next question, because I do have a bullet point list.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is there anything in particular that motivates you?
Yes, when you create something like this, I like meeting the people and seeing them. I would love to go to a convention. QuakeCon is the closest one to my niche, and just meet people there and be like, hey, you watch my channel. Let's get a picture together. This is cool. Like, I want to get a picture with you. I want to meet you. How did you find my channel? It's really cool to meet the people. That's on the personal side. On the business side, especially as of lately, this past few weeks for my Doom channel has been phenomenal with the growth strategies I've been using and the different approach. Each day, that revenue tick in. I made this much money today working 2 hours on a video game. And now this helps pay for childcare.
That's awesome.
As a family, as a husband and dad, I consider that avenue now. And just to see what's possible for 2 hours of work on a video game just blows your mind. And that absolutely pushes you because this is Q4 and ad rates are high.
Oh, I think we
so I'm thinking, wow.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah?
I think there was a little technical difficulties there. What were you said Q4 and then it cut out.
Yeah, so Q4 the ad rates are high, holiday season buying time. So all these things coming together, this is an opportunity I have. I need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's a great perspective in it, because I guess for people that aren't familiar with, Q4 and how that works, like you said, typically advertisers this time of year, they're paying a lot more for ads. They're putting more ads out there. So from our perspective, the YouTuber's perspective, that's typically when our RPMs and CPMs go up.
Yes.
So for, your instance, you're making more money. So it's a great time to make videos. So if you see a lot of creators on YouTube make tons of videos around this time of year, that's more than likely why.
And it's even as much as 50% or more, depending on the video. And there's lots of factors that go into ads. But that's if you could go to your job and say, hey, give me a 50% raise, you probably wouldn't do it. Well, as a YouTuber, that is the situation that we're in right now. That's why it's so big to me.
Right. So then what strategies, so obviously Q4 is so big for you, but do you have any strategies like in place that, in your video ideation, like how does that work? What is your workflow exactly like? So take me from start to finish into one of your videos.
Okay. So there's a huge misconception about what makes a video good on YouTube. People think that if I get this and I put in all these edits and all these transitions, I spent 10 hours on this, I have to be able to get 10,000 views, right? Effort and time spent does not equal success in this niche, in this world, at least for a YouTuber. So I think, what do people come to watch me for? As I try to be very personality-based and community-based as I have for the past few years. Because without a community, you don't have a channel.
Very true.
I found it is, and I found 3 things that people want to come and watch me for. And I thought, okay, let's double down on that. These are what I need to make the videos of. I noticed they don't come to me for these fancy edits and transitions. They come for the information I provide in the video, and I teach them as I really dive into the game and maybe help them with some analysis, for instance. Find the things that benefit you, double down on those. Find the things that take up your time and just waste it, and don't. So I've done it, and with the help of some other folks, I've eventually started making 3 videos a day, and I'm actually going to upload a 4th one here tonight.
Wow, that's incredible. Oh, my cat just unplugged the light.
Oh no,
that's hilarious.
You can go grab it real quick if you want to.
Yeah, I will. Hold on one second.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay.
It's not to get sidetracked, but my cat, I swear my cat makes more appearances in some of my videos than like, my wife, like my cat, she'll jump on like the back of my chair sometimes. Like I did a 2-hour-long video one time reading through these questions and answers, and she, no joke, just like jumped on my desk, knocked a bunch of stuff off, and then left. I'm like, please.
Hi, bye.
Yeah, sorry. So sorry about that.
That's okay. I have a cat too. I understand.
How many cats? Do you just have one?
Yeah, just the one.
Yeah. What's his or her name?
Her name is Kitty because I picked her up off the street and I never named her, so Kitty stuck.
Nice. My cat is named Zoe. She's super nice, but she's gotten a little bit like, she's a teenager now. That's what we're calling it. So she's going through her teenager phase, and she tends to, destroy things whenever she pleases. So
that they do.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess we were talking about strategies and workflow and things like that. I guess to go off that, do you, because since you're a Doom creator, first and foremost, how does that work with, you know, your videos, like coming up with ideas? Do you just see what the community wants and then kind of just create the video, or is it like, you know, oh, what's new in Doom, or is there like a combination? Like, how does that work?
Well, so it just depends. I mentioned before community, and that is factored in. And in the videos that I make, like, so I'm 32. I'm, I guess, one of the older guys in the scene. So naturally, the dad vibes sort of come out, the jokes, the advice. So that's one thing that I think people look at in the videos. Like, some people call me Doom Dad, which, so I think about that too. As I guess that's a little bit different than what you meant. So I think about, I have my phone here. I have a list of ideas in these notes. Anytime I think of something, I just put it in there. There's not a content drought. There's so many things to make and talk about if you think about outside the box, whether it's gameplay, combat analysis, news and updates. So I think about, like, what's a cool thing I could talk about? And I put that thing in my notes.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever, so I notice with myself, like, I'll be in bed and then I'll think of something, like I'll literally, my you know, my wife will get, she'll be like, oh, why are you grabbing your phone? And I'm like, I just thought of a good video idea.
Dude, I did that at like, what, 2 a.m. last night?
Yeah, that happens all the time.
100%. If I go to bed, I'm going to forget this and wake up in the morning.
Right.
Nope.
Right. No, I totally get it. So, so what video are you most proud of? Or, you know, is there a series or something that you're most proud of, you know, on channel A or B? Is there something you have in mind?
Yes, two-parter, actually. So what I've tried to do when I first started the channel, my whole premise was I want to do these wacky challenge runs that nobody else has done. I want to try to, like, grow this way, and it doesn't always work out that way. Anything from, like, playing the guitar in one hand to the keyboard on the other, playing a guitar game at the same time. But the most I'm proud of is two things. I got two little parts here. The first is what I call the ultimate DoomTuber collaboration, which I mix the words Doom and YouTuber together.
Right.
Which actually that's become the word that people use in the community.
Did you start that?
I think I did.
Oh man, now you're like meta.
Yeah. But the cool part about that video was I got 10 of us together and I got 10 DoomTubers of all sizes. I had like 300 subscribers at the time, and the biggest guy had like 100,000 or something. And to bring all that together was value. I had to really reach deep down and say, like, what can I pitch to a channel with 100,000 subscribers that they're going to want to come to little old me with? And the idea was, we start a playthrough and I go so far, the next person picks up from my save game, the next person picks up from their save game. And we had 46 segments of this game stitched together as if it were one player.
That's crazy.
I played a little bit, and through the editing, I did a behind the scenes video too. The idea was we're all in the same room and we're just switching seats, old school style, couch gaming, to give the illusion of one player across 46 segments and 10 people.
Wow.
So
that's nuts.
I got an idea, and you think, like, what are other people in other niches doing that nobody's doing in mine? What ideas can I use from them to make my own new, fresh thing that nobody in my niche is doing to make my business stand out? That was one. Another, I've not announced this on the channel yet, is a choose your own adventure for Doom. So here's how this is going to work, just real quick.
Okay.
I'll gush about it for 3 hours if you let me. But there are choose your own adventure books I grew up on as a kid. If you want to take this action, turn to page 32. Or if you want to slay the giant, turn to page 37. Did you ever play those?
Of course, right?
Yeah. So I thought, how can I do that in Doom on my platform of YouTube? And so I thought, what story can I write? Well, the last DLC content for Doom came out and the story of the game ended. And people didn't really like the ending. So I thought, we're never going to get a part 3. I'm going to write it. Okay. I'm going to write that part 3. What would I want to happen next? And so I thought, well, how can I take that and make it my own project? I'm a YouTuber. Let's make videos. So the whole reason was to take the ending of the game that I wanted to be, that we'll never get, and make it my own, since nobody else will. So they'll watch the video, and on the screen, it'll say, click this video if you want to do this action. Click this video if you want to do this action.
That's
and so they're
cool.
going to go down like a rabbit hole trail of videos. So That's going to be a fun project. I have a team of 4 people helping me out making custom stuff.
That's so neat. So, you know, that reminds me, I mean, did you get inspiration from that? Was it Netflix? I think there's a Black Mirror. I was at Black Mirror episode. I don't know,
I
but
didn't see it. I've heard about that though.
it was something similar where it
Huh.
was very unique because it was a video, but it was choose your own adventure slash path. Yeah, I think it was Black Mirror. And basically what you did was an option showed up on the screen on Netflix and you would choose it. And then whatever one you would
What?
choose, yeah, you should check it out. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure it's
wow. That's
Black
like
Mirror.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And but for when I heard about it, that was the first thing I thought about was, you know, as a kid
Oh, man.
doing those things. And actually, I think so. Black Mirror did it, and then the show Kimmy Schmidt Unbreakable, also on
I've heard of that.
Netflix. Yeah, that I know for a fact they did that as well because
Wow.
my wife and I, we watched it and we got to pick, like, you know, the things that we wanted to do. But it's incredible, you know, how Netflix is incorporating, you know, interactions with videos. And, you know, if you bring that to YouTube, because I don't know if anyone's done that, no one else I could think of, that would be huge. I think that's going to be really cool. I'm excited for that.
And it kind of falls back into the business perspective, how I'm, you know, interactive Doom data, always trying to get in the comment section. Really, like, if I watch a YouTuber, what do I want from them? That's what I try to do for my community. And this isn't how much more interactive can you be than playing a video game inside of a YouTube video, more or less.
Right.
So I just want to, and from a business perspective, like, nobody's doing that in the Doom scene. Why can't I be the first? How will this help convert these? I watched the Pat Flynn video last night, so it's fresh on my mind. He does, you know, podcasts and stuff. Maybe get these casual audiences to become dedicated audiences, to become fans, super fans. How can I grow the business in that way with this idea I have? I could ramble about it forever. But that's a whole just
you're fine. You're fine. No, this is we got all the time in the world to answer these questions. So that's no, really, that's a really cool idea. I'm happy that you're working on that, and I'll definitely check that out when it's live and ready. So, you know, we talked about what you're most proud of, but I'm interested. You didn't mention, and I know it's like picking a child, you know, like who's your favorite, but you didn't mention your videos with Hugo.
Yes.
And I think that like that to me, when I looked at your channel, and when I've looked at it throughout the past, you know, that's kind of stood out to me. So for those of you guys who don't know Hugo, he's one of the Doom creators, and you've had him featured on your I believe you had a podcast similar episode, kind of similar to what we were doing.
It was an interview. He actually found out my channel because I made some videos analysis about the game, and he really liked it, and he came to me and joined my Discord server and was like, "Hey guys, you know, love the videos."
That's so
like,
cool.
"Oh,
Wow.
cool."
I was, yeah, because the follow-up to that obviously was going to be how exactly did you get involved with him? So he just came to your Discord and was like, I
Saw my
like your videos.
like them, and he gets active in the community too, and he does, you know, he gets a lot of praise for that. And so, you know, we've talked since then. You know, it's pretty cool. You don't often see that in game devs when you're really willing to get out there and meet the people.
Yeah, that's incredible. So I do have to ask you, when you interviewed him, and you know, did you feel like, did you get a little nervous? Were you like, oh my God, this is the guy that, you know, like,
Well,
this is my childhood here, you know?
For starters, I mean, I was like, yeah, this is Hugo I'm talking to. And I boot up the camera and we both have the same shirt on. So that was nice. Doom Eternal
Saw
logo
that,
shirt.
yeah.
And when you really got to talk to him, it was relaxing because you could tell that he was just as passionate about this as you were. He's just been fortunate enough to be in the position to make it. So it was really relaxing talking to him because I felt like I was talking to another fan.
That's so cool. So do you have any plans to, you know, do things with other Doom, you know, creators or Doom, you know, people that have worked on Doom? Is that in the future as well?
Had some requests to see if I could interview Sandy Peterson, but I haven't gotten on that one yet. He'd be cool to talk to though, because he's got some really neat stuff. I would like to talk to some people. It's just about fitting in the schedule. I stay super busy. Husband, dad, 3 videos a day, full-time job.
Oh, I get it. I get it. If you could get to what were you about to say?
If I could get to it, you know, amidst the scheduling.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think you should. keep up with that. Because I mean, from someone who, you know, I enjoy Doom, but I'm not like I'm not
Yeah.
super passionate about it. From a more casual audience perspective, like those are the videos that I enjoyed the most on your channel. Because like I'm big into Age of Empires, and I watched the Sandy Peterson interview that I think the channel was Bored with Nelly did, and he only has like 2,000 subscribers. But again, like I saw it, and I was just like, oh, I gotta learn about the process and kind of how these creators, their minds worked and stuff like that. And that kind of like, you know, really got me excited. So I bet, you know, I bet if
I need
you
to.
did do some of those interviews, I bet you get some pretty solid views on that. So with that being said, what are your future goals then for both your channels?
Well, I've since kind of focused more on Doom because the views, even though the RPM is lower, there was a really big update recently, and I was able
Mhm.
to get a whole lot of traffic from that because I looked and like, what can I do with this hot update time to bring people in that people aren't doing? And not a lot of people were making mass videos covering this update. I know I shouldn't be saying this, but I released two videos that covered like 3-week-old news. But you don't do that in news. That's 3 weeks. But it
Right.
was such stuff that was hidden inside of a little dev stream that nobody knew about. So it was
Wow.
new, sort of, just
Right.
figuring that out. And I've been able to get up to 25, 30, 35,000 views a day. So it really kind of has been my focus for my channel. And I, as much of as I am of the game, we talked about earlier, the business, I look at it as a business that I enjoy running. What can I do to help monetize that in different ways? What videos can I release to maximize that view count, grow the audience, grow these, super fans that want to be there for anything I watch? I'm very business minded about it, but I don't want that to sound like that I don't enjoy it or anything like that.
No, I get that. I get that. Well, so then, you know, when you're talking about the plan, I mean, obviously you have those two channels exist.
Mhm.
So is there like, I guess out of 100%, are you saying that your Doom is going to take up maybe like 70% or 80% versus the Reddit channel? Or, you know, what's the percentage looking like?
Well, even though the Reddit channel has even up to several times more of the views per thousand, it's just the surge that Doom has had. I feel like I'd be missing a boat if I didn't really put in hard for that,
Hmm.
because I know when this update falls, I'm going to lose some traffic. But as before we talked about, all the way back to those 30 subscribers with Big Mac Davis, all the way back on the other channel from Rob shouting out the Ultimate Doom Tubers. From all this, I've learned, hang on to the wave as much as you can. And even when that update fades, you'll still have a solid customers, which I don't want to call it customers, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Of course.
I
Yeah.
kind of put it in those terms. So it's been a focus. I'd like to do I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I'd like to do a podcast for gaming YouTubers that just don't know where to go with it. Teach them about click-through rate, average view duration, teach them about thumbnails, about why you shouldn't blame the algorithm if a video doesn't take off. Things that people don't look at enough, but they should. And it would really help their channels.
Yeah.
Just
No, that's such a fun idea. I mean, and I think, you know, part of what this is and what I'm doing right now, is kind of just showing a bunch of people that are creators, founders that know, you know, what they're doing, and have something that they could bring to the table, and kind of dissecting their brains and stuff like that. Because, you know, you've offered a lot of perspective that people that are just starting off, you know, they have no idea. So I guess with that being said, I mean, do you have a piece of advice that you would give in particular to new creators? Or, you know, one creator, you know, they just come up to you and they're like, hi, you know, I have a gaming channel, let's say, or, you know, a channel in general, you know, what's your piece of advice to them?
Man, this could go so deep. But on the surface level, if we were to keep it simple, I would say don't shortchange yourself and put this artificial ceiling on yourself. Like, oh, I can only get 100 views. I can only get 1,000 views. Learn everything you can. Take that good advice, apply it. Take the bad advice, leave it to the side. But don't ever quit learning, because if you quit learning, you start dying and you begin to fall back and regress. Take all the information you can. You know, try to take it seriously. See if you like it, because I thought in 2016 I lost 2 years of that I could have been working because I thought it was too much. I was wrong. Now look at it now. It's something that I'd never pictured a year ago. So I guess I say all that to say, learn as much as you can and try it. And don't give up if it's hard at first. Learn from your mistakes, apply, talk to people, and businesses take time to grow. You don't just go 1 month. When I started playing guitar, a friend told me it's going to take you a month to learn the basics to play guitar. And I thought, a month? That's crazy. Well, 14, 15 years later, there's a couple guitars in this room. Think about the long term. A month is not a long time for your business. And don't be discouraged if it does take time to profit.
No, that's great. That's great. That's fantastic advice. Because I mean, I think if there's one way to describe, a creator or founder or entrepreneur or whatever you want to call it, it's the ability to learn, as well as the resilience, having that endurance to have a vision and stick with it. That's
It's
so
hard.
important. Yeah, and it is hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I had two businesses that failed before I got on my feet. And like you said, you had 2 years where you were like, you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah,
So
and it is tough. And there are ways to make money out there that you wouldn't even realize are even possible. And it takes time. You have to be in it for the long haul. 100%.
Definitely. All right. Well, I think that about does it. I mean, did you have any questions or anything else that you wanted to talk about in particular? Or I think we covered a lot.
Just find the value in your business, in your niche, find what people come to watch you for, and give that to them. If you have something blow up or do great, sell more of that, make more of that. Don't just be like, a lot of people just quit whenever that happens and they try to ride that wave out. And that's the time they should be doubling down, and they don't know what to make next. Do more of what worked.
Yeah.
Any business, any product, the videos are my product. They're more or less what I sell for free through ads. But I'm finding what's working. I'm trying to just double down.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Austin.
Thank you.
Before you go, do you have anything you want me to promote other than your channels, or tell your audience to go check out in particular?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything just at the moment other than maybe just resources that you can learn from and better your craft and be open to just soaking up knowledge. You always have to be a student of your craft. Never just say you're the master and quit learning. Always try to keep at it.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. After this, I'm going to talk to you a little bit. But for those of you guys who are watching, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys spending the time with us today. We're going to be doing tons of videos like this in the future. We have lots of guests. We also have another guest coming out in a week or two, so stay tuned for that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.